Hello, Ella, 440 students. I guess I just got an email from Tyler who runs the videos, and for whatever reason, the hard drive wasn't working properly, so our video didn't record as it should. So unfortunately, the video that you had to access for yesterday was not functioning. So I'm going to go over the PowerPoint with you. You'll miss out on the discussion, which is unfortunate, but at least you'll have some verbal instructions on how to do the writer's timeline. So I can reflect on myself as a writer was the learning target for this lesson. Essentially, our goal was to think about ourselves and positive and negative writing experiences over the course of our schooling, so we could think about what we want to do in our classrooms and kind of create a vision for how we may or may not teach writing in our classrooms. So anyways, that was essentially what our goal was for this class. I'm going to talk to you more about that in just a little bit. First of all, though, I would like to address some questions that were posed. So one of the questions that was posed was the level of difficulty of the course. I don't feel like this course is something that you will not be able to be successful in if you put in effort. It will cause you to think, and some of the work will be challenging and probably new to you if you've not written lessons before, as you think about how to most effectively meet the needs of students. But that being said, I think it's definitely a class that you'll enjoy and be able to feel more confident once you finish in the area of teaching students in writing. Let's see, group work. For the students that are in face-to-face class, there will be group work. If you are an online student, that work will be turned into more of an independent type assignment. So there will be some slight differences there. There are two large assignments or projects that we will be working on over the course of the semester. The first is we're going to be collecting quality text, quality mentor texts, and creating kind of a writer's library so that when you start your own classroom, you'll have ideas of what might be some great books that you can use to help students study different genres of writing. And then we will also be, as a final project, creating a cross-curricular unit plan where you integrate language arts practices with another content area like science or social studies or math or music. There's not a field experience with this course. Assignments are due depending, I guess that due date really depends on the amount of time that I feel like the assignment should take you. So there will be some bigger assignments that you get a week or 2 weeks to accomplish, and then there will be other assignments that you'll want to have done within the week that they're assigned. It really, like I said, depends on the length or the amount of time I think the assignment should take you. And so you'll want to follow real closely with that assignment checklist that is posted in the content each week. Talked about the final test. It's not a final written test. Instead, it's a final project. What will we be able to apply to our future classrooms? Hopefully you'll have an idea of how to engage your students in the writing process. We are going to try to incorporate some opportunities for you to teach lessons to your classmates, although that's going to have to be modified slightly if you're an online student. And then the final question was about extra requirements for middle school education, and what the student was referring to was, what kind of test do you have to take to be a middle school teacher? And once you graduate and you want to get your certification, there would be some alternate praxis tests that you would need to take. So let's go back to our learning target for today. I know myself as a writer, and what I want you to do is create a writing timeline. Now, this is a picture of a writing timeline that goes in a writer's notebook. And so this was just one example of what a student that came up with. And this is my writer's timeline. So what I want you to include on your writer's timeline that you're going to turn into the Dropbox is essentially information about you and things that you did through learning to write and kind of think about if they were positive or negative experiences. So elementary school, I don't remember a whole lot of, you know, detailed writing that I did. I remember the little booklets in kindergarten. I do remember doing some reports. When I got into like 4th or 5th grade, some various research reports. In middle school, I remember the focus of our writing really had a lot to do with grammar, like diagramming sentences. And I was good at it, but I didn't necessarily enjoy doing it. High school was when I got exposure to more technical type writing, which I liked that. I get a little bit self-conscious when I try to do creative writing. So I like the technical writing. One of the first times that I felt comfortable with a creative writing actually happened in college. I believe it was probably my sophomore or junior year in one of my comp classes. And I had to write a descriptive essay, and it was a collaborative writing project. And the end product I was really happy with, and that was something that really gave me a little bit more confidence in creative writing. And so now, as a teacher and as a teacher of middle school students, I could see how students need support to come up with ideas, thinking back on my past experience. And so one of the things that I did was I kept myself and then had my students keep writer's notebooks. And then finally, the other thing that kind of is a turning point for me as a technical writer is being in graduate school and working on kind of the wonderful world of APA and additional technical writing and research. So that's my writer's timeline. What we did in class was then we turned some of those positive, or some of those experiences, into a positive and negative list, and thinking about what wasn't so good for us as we learned to write and what was good. But we didn't quite finish with the positive list. So what I kind of gathered is things that were negative of people's experiences. They didn't like when somebody chose the topic for them. A negative experience for our students in the face-to-face class through our discussion. They didn't enjoy learning to write like cursive and that sort of thing. There was quite a few people fairly self-conscious about their handwriting. What people did like, or the one positive thing that stood out, was when they got to do writing about a topic that they chose and that they were passionate about. So your goal with this assignment is to create a writer's timeline. You're going to turn it in on D2L. If you go into D2L for ELED 440, sorry, I'm on the wrong class here, and into assessments, you'll see a Dropbox for a writer's timeline that you can turn in. You will also see the PowerPoint with instructions. So if you could please do that, and I'm going to extend the due date on this for the online students. So if you could get that done by Wednesday of next week, and I'll change that due date on the Dropbox. That way, since you did not get to view this now, you would be able to view it at a later time and still submit that assignment. So with that being said, you guys have a great weekend, and we will talk to you next Monday, and hopefully our technology will be working as intended.